Hi everyone, we've got a really exciting guest here today. It's Coach Lou. Welcome, Coach. Llewellyn is the current PGA Coach of the Year. This is now the third time he's won this great title. He's also been to many majors. We're definitely going to pick his brain on around that. And then Lou, we'd just like to pick your brain generally around the game of golf.
Thanks, Darren. I feel greatly underdressed.
If you could just take us through how you got started in the game and what it is you love about the game.
Well, I had the typical scenario where both my mother and father played golf, so I was always the little picky running on the side of the fairway with a club in hand and just hitting some shots and just keeping myself busy. And then I was fortunate enough to have Kevin Stone and James Kingston as my two neighbours where I grew up, so it was kind of inevitable.
Yeah, some great pedigree there.
Mm.
So how long have you now been coaching for?
I've been coaching since 1998, so I guess that puts it at 26, 27 odd years.
Yeah. So I've seen you've taken multiple juniors from intro to golf up onto the tour, up onto the world stage. Is there any sort of stories you can share with us?
Well, I started my journey at Centurion Country Club, and I think, Bryanston, I was first employed as his caretaker or babysitter, and soon after that, when he started getting into the game, I was his first little junior coach. So I coached Brandon from when he was like 6 years old all the way to winning on the European tour. So that was an exciting journey, and I think it's a natural journey when you're based at a club. So I missed a lot of that when the 14 years I spent at Tux, because then I was only working with the cream of the crop. So it's nice being back at a good club like Bryanston and being able to walk that journey with little youngsters that are just starting the game.
I love it.
And really will hopefully have some success stories in 20 years from now.
Yeah, I look forward to that. I think this year our Club Champs theme is Inside the Ropes. You're one of the few guys that's actually been inside the ropes. You have been to majors. So if I have it right on record, you've been to 4 Open Championships, 1 PGA Championship, and 1 US Open inside the ropes. Can you talk to us about the nerves that fly around and kind of what it's like being inside the ropes?
Look, I think when you go to a major, if a guy like George Coetzee on the Sunshine Tour, he's going to feel like he's good enough to win. And the biggest enemy for him at a tournament where he'd like to do his best is to get in a space where he thinks he needs to be better than he already is. So that is a big trap for most of our members playing their club champs. You got to just be yourself, be the same person you were last week Thursday, last week Sunday. That same person has to arrive. You're going to make mistakes. You have to just keep your game plan pretty conservative. When you've made mistakes, just take your punishment on the chin, chip out, get the ball back in play, avoid the big numbers. Other than that, it's just stick to your routines. If you are just repeating one good routine after another, tally up your score at the end and let's see what happens. And just lastly, just keep your game plan a lot more conservative than you normally do. Perhaps just spend some time on the putting green actually putting out. A lot of our members they're not quite used to putting out, so those gimmies are no longer gimmies. So maybe do some short putt testing before you peg it up on Saturday, but for the rest, keep it exactly like you have been. Ben Hogan's advice: you got to dance with the lady you arrive with at the dance.
I love that. I think in tournament golf, you mentioned it there, when you have to putt out. Once that pencil's in your pocket and you have to record your score, you lose your mind and you become a different golfer. Obviously now there's very little time to come for a lesson before the championship. If we could maybe share one golden nugget for a practice tip to some of our competitors.
Yeah, I would just really go to each department and just make my routine cast in stone. So be comfortable that my putting routine is in place and I feel confident that it produces results. Same with chipping, bunker, pitching, iron play and driving. And perhaps if you don't have any routines, a good time would be to get some in place. then it's not about technique, it's about making the target and the shot the most important thing, and reacting to that, having a process that gets you to react to the shot and the target.
And then you have coached multiple professionals that have been successful on multiple tours. In your opinion, could you sort of find one common thing amongst all the pros that makes them good competitors?
I think most of the pros have really strong strengths, and their weaknesses are not weak enough to cost them shots. So for instance, a guy like George, his putting is phenomenal. His mental strength, being in the moment, being in the space that he needs to be in is phenomenal. Whereas a guy like Brandon, he's extremely talented, and same as Zander, they extremely talented. They hit the ball extremely well. Zander's got a fantastic short game, but his putting the first part of his career was definitely his nemesis, and I feel like how he's putting of late has contributed greatly to how well he's played. But the bottom line is, you got to use your strengths to your advantage and just get those weaknesses not to cost you shots.
Yeah, I love that. And then just of all the major championships, obviously all of us golfers love the majors. Is there anyone that stands out, or a course that you've visited that gives you goosebumps now just thinking about it?
Well, I think one of the greatest duels I've seen at a major was probably that duel between Mickelson and Stenson at Troon, and to have been
this
there,
year's host major, yeah.
To have been there, that was just unbelievable. I mean, to know exactly what they were facing, where the wind direction was from, how the golf course shapes, which holes are historically like real little testers. That was really fun to be a part of.
Yeah, fantastic. Lou, thank you so much for your time. I hope some of our viewers have stolen some little nuggets, help them for their club championships.
Hope so too.
And yeah, we'll see you around on the range.
Thanks, Darren.